Wait for this man to get his vest on. Looking all good for a camera.
This is my
Spiffy.
bum day.
This is yours. Okay, well, he still wears vests on his bum day. Hello, everybody. I'm Will Knight.
The Proctor.
Theo Phillips.
And we just got out of war for the Planet of the Apes. What happens when Will Harrelson, just declares war on you? You get a whole planetary war going on here. Because that man is, he's serious about stuff. I still remember Zombieland.
Forgot about that.
But yeah, we finally got out of Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes. And yeah, it took a bit because the movie actually cut off for us twice because of thunderstorms that were coming on in our area. But we managed to get through, managed to see all the stuff, and came out a little impressed. Personally, I came out a little impressed. But
Oh no, we were all impressed.
okay, all right,
We were all
good.
impressed.
No, all right, so I'm not alone here.
Right.
Okay,
Oh,
cool. All right, so for this movie, because it cut off on us twice during the climax, I'm gonna talk about something that I like good first, and then we'll go around and then give it a critique, and then we'll go around and give our rating. So, as you know, the Planet of the Apes movies have all been looking gorgeous. They top tier. They are the A1 sauce of movies in terms of CG right now.
Chick-fil-A sauce though.
They're the A1 sauce of movies right now in terms of CG. They be making them apes look so real that you can almost touch them. That's the real 4D experience right there. I can almost feel them breathing on me. It's a little ridiculous. But yeah, they were looking extremely good. We get to see a little bit of a smaller cast in this movie that get to be featured a little bit more, which can be nice, and it worked in quite a few places. It gave you the opportunity to feel for more people that were more background characters in the last movies, but now you get to see them in more of a little bit of a light, and I did kind of dig that a little bit. We got a little bit of heart.
Right.
Also got a new character in there who, if you've seen the original Planet of the Apes, you will know who that is, and if you've seen the trailer, you can probably guess who it is, but I ain't gonna say anything. Anyway.
So,
Non-spoiler review, just got you.
Yeah, non-spoiler review.
Non-spoilers.
Let's watch yourself back there. I know how you be. Anyway, Proctor, what you got for me before this fool gets all crazy?
right. I thought this was a really good movie. I really liked seeing Caesar's story again, because just how like relatable of a character he is, the way that like he emotes and you can really feel his journey through it all. That's the thing that really always draws me into the prequel films here.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, that was just a very, very prevalent thing. Like Caesar's very empathetic character. So you really feel for him. He emotes himself very well. Has a good head on his shoulder. Tends to think through things. So to me, I just really liked being able to join him once again, one last time for a good little, journey. Well, I guess not one last time. Who knows? Might not be a trilogy.
Yeah, I was about to say we might just get a little bit more. I mean, we still got to get to Marky Mark, touching down from space, but
got a few more years.
If that brother makes a cameo in the next movie, I'm going to be pissed off.
Hey man, you might as well prepare for it now.
If he makes a cameo,
they prequels to the reboot, my friend.
Right?
Man,
Sequel trilogy.
Yes. Also, by the way, if you guys don't know the characters that we're talking about, watch the first two Planet of the Apes movies, because we ain't gonna spend no time going over characters that you should already know. That'd be redundant and ridiculous, and another R word that probably exists out there to explain this. Sure, I trust him.
Redonkulous? You don't trust me. Anyway,
what you got?
So, one of the things that I like the most about these prequel movies for Planet of the Apes are the relationships between the humans and the apes. And also especially like the relationships between Caesar and the main human characters. The first movie we see kind of just like the bonding, the beginning stages of what things could potentially look like with James Franco and with Caesar. The next movie we see a progression of just kind of like Caesar and Jason Clarke, kind of like both leaders of these factions. And we see like a sort of like dichotomy there between just like the personality types and their leadership styles and why they do what they do. Even with Koba and with Gary Oldman's character as well, you see that. And I love like the relationship that they built with those characters. And then we get this movie, and I feel like it portrayed just like the relationship between like the Colonel and Caesar like pretty well to an extent. Like not even just when they're on screen together, because in all honesty, they don't share like a ton of screen time together. They share meaningful screen time together, but not as much as you may think by watching the trailers.
Right.
But I feel like it was more so of just like the idea of just like the idea of the characters and like their philosophies and everything. You see that a lot more. I just love how Matt Reeves just was able to pull all of that together.
Yeah, the parallelism in this movie was really, really well done. Going on to what I have to say about this movie, because not every movie's perfect. If you guys think that you've seen the perfect movie out there, you haven't. It doesn't exist yet.
Space Jam, bro. Space Jam.
So to critique this movie, though, I will say that like throughout the entire journey that we've had in the previous two Planet of the Apes movies, we got to see that parallelism along in more of an arc for Caesar than we do in this movie. It's not to say that you don't get his motivation. It's just his motivations are very choice driven instead of like ultimatum driven. If you don't really understand the difference between the two, I don't know what to tell you. But one involves like a crisis, either a moral or a personal crisis, and one is just decision doesn't work for me. Okay, decision B. Okay, decision B worked, and then back to decision A until it worked. It's important for the story, but I feel like it could have been worked into more of an arc that gave him more of an ultimatum instead of a more choice-based like arc in this movie. Woody Harrelson also has it, but he has the excuse of being crazy in the movie, so I don't know what to I don't know what to say.
I mean, ultimatums like and choices go hand in hand, though.
They're synonyms, but not the same.
Now, I know they're not the same, but they still go hand in hand. Like, when someone gives you ultimatum, like, you have to make a choice right then and there.
I mean, yes, but it's not as simple as saying that you're making an in general choice. It's called an ultimatum for a reason, because the consequences either way are going to hurt you no matter what. With a choice, you just kind of make one and then you just keep it moving. And that's more along the lines of what he did in this movie. I'm not saying that they didn't make it entertaining, or that for a choice-driven character, it wasn't really well done, because usually they're done crappy. And this movie did a really good job of doing it. It's a very noticeable part of the movie. I'll put it that way. Not to say that like it necessarily deters from the way the story was working. It's just, considering that he wasn't a choice-driven character in the last two, it's a noticeable change in this movie now. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel that like these pre-Planet of the Apes movies are just as much like Caesar's story as they are for the apes. Like, Caesar's story is the story of the apes. He's their leader, and you've always seen directly how everything that he does and decides to do affects all of them and causes all of them to either grow or, you know, kind of like fall back for that time. And I feel that in this movie they kind of lost that a little bit, with him and his journey and it being very personal. Like you said, it's very relatable. Like, you definitely do understand it. It makes a lot of sense. You definitely feel for it. But it really just kind of, for the first time, caused that kind of separation, which kind of just lost me a little bit. Not that I thought it was bad. It didn't like completely take me out of the movie. It just really gave it a different feel and really changed some things up.
I got you.
Because of the fact that my arguments to both of the things that you guys said are going to dwell on spoiler territory, I am going to tame them. So I will say this. I don't fully agree with what you're saying, because I feel as though with this movie, Caesar, like, this is the climax for this central character in the franchise. So naturally you're going to want the movie to be more about him and about his choices. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that personally. But if we do a spoiler review, I'll be more than happy to delve into a lot more of the aspects of what you guys are saying, because I love you guys and I want us to.
Okay, just quickly, say why it worked for you.
So it worked for me personally because, again, just dwelling on that, like, this is a movie that we get for Caesar. Like, he is the central character in this franchise, and you're gonna have to like make these choices, and you're gonna have to do these things. You're gonna have to react to certain circumstances. But again, you get a natural progression of really just all these different things, and these apes ultimately becoming human. The first movie was just kind of like, okay, you have apes, and then you have humans. Second movie was like, okay, you have apes and humans specifically forced somehow to coexist. Something's gotta give. And then the third movie, given all the circumstances that took place in the first two movies, it was apes are becoming human. Caesar is gonna make mistakes. He made some mistakes in this movie, but at the same time, I want that in the character, and I want that in a leader. A leader is going to make mistakes and not be perfect all the time. Like, if there is a perfect leader on this earth, like, I mean, they don't exist, and it's a fallacy. But at the same time, it's just like Caesar, he learned from his mistakes, and I feel like he redeemed himself in the end. Not saying this movie was perfect as well. In all honesty, I feel I was kind of underwhelmed, not necessarily by Woody Harrelson's performance, but I wanted to see a little bit more of his character, like, interacting with Caesar. What we got was great, and what we got was awesome, because it definitely felt like the Clash of the Titans from the trailers. We just didn't fully get that Clash of the Titans matchup that I was hoping for, at least.
Okay, so you feel that Caesar's choices, even though they like are more direct choices than what we've seen before, help fit the theme of the movie, and ultimately, you felt that, like, even though he was making direct choices, they fit the theme of the movie, but you wanted to see more of a clash between him and the antagonist in the movie.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can give you that. I mean, like we said, it's not perfect, but ultimately, it comes down to a pretty entertaining movie. They did a really good job. It's just, like, I guess more of the things that we have aren't necessarily bad in terms of making the movie. Just it could have worked out in being a whole better, like, structured script, I guess. More writing than, like, how the directing was. It's just...
Because the directing was great.
Yeah.
Writing was probably 8.5, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it was definitely good, and it definitely, like, it's streamlined.
Yeah.
It's just there are pieces in there that would have been like, you could have pushed the boundary a little bit.
Yes.
Even still, for me, I would say that it's a low must-see. Like, if I had to give it, like, a tier list, it's on the low end of must-sees, but the entire series is, like, great. It's definitely a phenomenally made series. So, I would say the entire thing is a must-see. Because it's under that umbrella, I would say that it's a low must-see. But the reason why I say low is because I wouldn't watch it by itself. I'd have to plan out to watch the other two at some point, or watch them all in one day or some crap like that. It's a good movie on its own, but because I know that it fits into something way bigger, I give it, like, a lot more props, because it did a really good job of basically bridging the gap and making those other two movies, like, even more important, and just, it did a really good job of being a trilogy movie.
Say something for Proctor, dog. Dang, that was great, but
I mean, I'm just saying the facts.
Yeah, for me, I would definitely say must on deck, like a 4.5 type situation. Definitely really great movie in its own right, and definitely, like, again, yeah, if you're a fan of the trilogy, or like, really like just the penultimate of everything, then yeah, this one's definitely worth seeing. Again, fine if it's maybe not the very next thing, but no, it was still very well done. Great cinematic, still a great story. Me personally, I'm invested, and I started watching the trilogy because it's like, okay, I want to see how we go from Earth to Planet of the Apes. You really start to get attached to Caesar, and it becomes his story as well. So there's one specific character of it all, but I don't want to lose sight of what the main story is supposed to be. The fact we're trying to figure out how this thing is supposed to get there, and I don't want to get too caught up in Caesar, but I feel that this movie does still really help edge on along the main concept while still growing Caesar. So to me, definitely good enough to, like, as soon as possible when you can, if it's not the very next thing.
Gotcha.
I mean, for me, yeah, I'd be glad this is a non-spoiler review. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Because Caesar is how they get there. Like, the be-all, end-all to an extent, like, is Caesar and that foundation of Rocket and Mo and, like, Lake and, like, all those people. But for me, I would say it's definitely a must-see. Like, just standalone and the trilogy itself. 4.5 out of 10 at least. 4.5 out of 5 at least. My bad. 4.5 out of 5 at least. This movie is potentially going to get nominated for some Oscars. Definitely visual effects. I feel like that's an early contender for it. I mean, aside from the new Star Wars movie, maybe, or that, Valerian, I don't know. But this movie was great in its own right because it told Caesar's story. Caesar is the be-all, end-all of the apes. He is the Moses for those apes. And he went out here, and my dude put in, like, solid work in this movie. Andy Serkis, awesome. movie, awesome. Just see it. Just there's no reason for why you can't see it. You want to go see Despicable Me 3, Transformers 5, War for the Planet of the Apes. Watch this movie.
Yep, Andy Serkis and that computer. Y'all did great. I don't know if there's a movie coming out next week, but well, actually, we could. I think you mentioned this, that we could watch 2001 Planet of the Apes, so we get like that full round of a story, do like a retro review.
Y'all can watch Planet of the Apes.
Now we seen how we got to the Planet of the Apes. So what's it gonna be on the Planet of the Apes?
Yep.
Y'all can watch that crap fest.
Nah, man, you gotta watch Mark. Yep, I was about to say you gotta watch Marky Mark Touchdown too.
Hey, I can go watch one of his music videos from the early '90s.
I mean, hey, that don't involve him dropping down from space. He ain't no astronaut.
You don't know his rapping skills or his ability to pull people for a music video.
I know he didn't drop down out of space and none of.
Look, I'm tired of that. Look, okay, I'll watch it for $5.
Check us out next week for probably a retro review of Planet of the Apes. Take care. I'm Will Knight.
Proctor.
Theo Phillips.
And we will see you guys next week for, more of these review things, because apparently y'all like this stuff.
I mean, it's great. We over here
Cheers.
Sweating in this car like a easy bake oven.
Yeah, I rolled the windows down for you. You all right?
I mean, barely, but I'm good.
Hey everyone, thank you all for watching. This has been a fun little bit just getting started on YouTube and anything. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. It's been a lot of fun trying to bolster ourselves up in the YouTubeverse. We love all of the comments we get, positive and negative. I mean, even the negative ones are kind of fun to try and think of creative stuff to say. So, we appreciate you guys so much. If you could, please leave a like and a comment down below so that you can give us some type of feedback and some things that we can do in our next video. And check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PlusU Views or PlusU Productions so that you can help light the views on content you want to see.